Hello, Universe. What's up? It's your girl, Brandy619, and I am coming to you to talk about Mr. Cuba Gooding Jr. today. So, I was waiting a while before I was going to make this video because I wanted to really kind of see how it was going to unfold. And judging by the looks of things, the charges will stick. He did go and turn himself in for forcible touching. Now the story is that he was at a nightclub, a little lounge of some sort, rooftop lounge of some sort, and he had been karaokeing, singing. You know, he loves to go out and drink and karaoke. So he was out karaokeing. He was with his girlfriend. I guess her name is Claudette. They had been drinking. That's what they went to the club to do. They went to turn up and have a good time. And what I do know from other videos that I've seen of Cuba is that when he goes out, he likes to drink, and he likes to drink a lot, and he likes to turn the up. Okay, so that's exactly what he did, him and his girlfriend. Now, the reason why I say him and his girlfriend is because as I watched the video that they want to show us, the video is time stamped from around 10 when this happened. It is time stamped at about 10:15 p.m. and then it goes well into about 10:18, almost 10:19, around 3 minutes of video footage, where we see Cuba sitting on the couch. Claudette comes and plops herself down next to him. So clearly, to me, she has definitely had a few as well. I'm assuming that they were going to be calling an Uber or had a driver to come and pick them up because they were sauced. Then I see a young lady come and sit next to Claudette. There's a little bit of space in between her and Claudette. However, Cuba reaches over and puts his hand on her thigh and slightly, to me, as I see it, in between her thighs. His hand goes down in between both of her thighs on her thigh. And I also feel like that goes from being closer to the knee to a little bit closer up. It kind of slides, his hand kind of slides up, to me, in my opinion, from what I can see, a little bit, moving away from the knee towards the fleshier part of the thigh, in my opinion. And then, they're talking, and he then takes his hand and, grabs her boob or touches her boob or something. And then she grabs his hand and kind of holds it there like, hold it, buddy. Hey, you're tripping. And then I guess she must say something to him. Again, Claudette does not move. She's sitting right there in between the both of them, says absolutely nothing, does not move. So I'm assuming that she, maybe this is a normal thing that they do, and maybe that's how they pick up chicks to take back to the pad. You know what I'm saying? Which is something that most celebrities and people with money tend to do, and not because it's a hard thing to do, but because that is typically, what goes down. There are women that are down with the, they down with that kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? Oh, a celebrity. Oh, I don't care. He got a girlfriend. Oh, we all can get down. You know what I mean? And they'll do that, just to have the night or hang out with them for the night or hang out with them a few more times and get some free drinks and meals and be able to go to the parties with them. The fun time girl. So, Claudette does not move. She does not say anything. She sees him with her hand on the thigh and then also sees him with his hand on the lady's breast. So again, the lady grabs the hand and they exchange a few words, and then a guy walks over. Now, I'm not sure if he's security or not. He looked like he was like a buddy of theirs or something like that, and he looked like he was there to have a good time too. But then maybe she's pushing his hand away, and he takes her hand. Their hands are intertwined some kind of way, and he brings it to his mouth and kisses her hand. Maybe saying something like, "Oh man, I wouldn't never. I wasn't trying to, you know, I wasn't trying to, really be out of pocket. I just thought that that was maybe the vibe that I was getting. So, and this is me all speculating, but this is just based off of the video that I see. I will put the video down in the description bar for you, and it is a TMZ video, so if you call yourself boycotting and riding that wave with T.I., you might not want to watch the link, but it is the video. So the guy that comes to kind of get in between the two of them, I guess, I don't know if he sees that there's something kind of going kind of weird, or if he senses the energy over there or something like that. So he comes over there, tries to make light, does a little twisting move, a little shake his rump, gyrates in their face, and then he pulls both of them together. He pulls Cuba, and then he pulls the accuser, and then he leans down and pulls them together. I don't know what he says. He says something like, "Hey guys, like chill, we just having a good time or something," or I don't know what he says. But again, Claudette's still sitting right there in the middle. She is in the midst of this whole conversation, this whole situation that's going down, and so initially I thought that that may have been Claudette's friend or something, and that he was maybe just kind of warming her up a little bit for the threesome that they had planned on having later. That's initially what I thought. But as the story goes and the story unfolds and I find out more about the story, well, first I see the guy who comes to intervene a little bit. He takes a drink from Cuba, and then he shakes it a little more, and then I see Cuba grab or put his hand around his thigh or crotch area or something. That was weird. But and then as it seems, I don't know if Cuba's just like, okay, this broad is tripping. Like she's turning she's making a mountain out of a molehill. Maybe that's what his mind is thinking, because maybe for him, he got a little bit of a different vibe from her, and he was testing the waters to see, what time it was gonna be. So, it was late. Maybe he was wanting to see what time it was gonna be. You feel me? So Kuba gets up and he walks away. By that time, the drink is back in his hand. He walks away with his drink, and then I think Claudette was like, "Come on, man, let's go," because this girl is tripping. She's like, she's really tripping or something. So I guess they get up and they walk away. Kuba walks away. Claudette walks away. The guy walks away, and then the accuser walks and looks like she follows behind them and still drinking her drink like a regular person. And there's a black girl that's with her that walks drinking her drink, walking the same direction as Cuba. But this is the thing though. So this is how the story unfolds. They say, and I'm going to read this to you. This is from page 6. You guys can go check that out too. Well, actually, here's a few. These are all updated. So this one right here is from TMZ. They say that the woman who was allegedly groped by Cuba Gooding says she was trying to help the actor while he was very intoxicated. Police sources that spoke to TMZ said the woman brought Cuba a cup of water while he was in the middle of karaoke and partying because she assumed he was drunk. According to her, they were speaking when he decided to allegedly grab her breast, which led to an altercation. Police sources also noted that Cuba is a regular at the bar where the incident allegedly took place, and that he did not leave the club until an hour and a half later after the incident. So that's from TMZ. That was an update as of the 11th, and this was from page 6, which was the original. Their original was on 6/10, and it says it looks like Cuba Gooding Jr. may be in trouble with NYPD after a woman accused him of groping her at a club. The woman reportedly called the cops on Cuba Gooding Jr. around 1 a.m. after he grabbed her breast while the two were engaged in a conversation earlier the night. The woman said the actor was drunk and they had been broken up from fighting by security after he touched her inappropriately. And he is reportedly being charged with forcible touch. Now, let's get into it, because let's just say this. you were trying to help him by bringing him a cup of water while he was in the middle of karaoke and partying because you assumed he was drunk. Well, um, I mean, what made you feel like you needed to be the good Samaritan? His woman was there. Everyone at that bar knows him. He's a regular there. You know, um, you were just that concerned. I mean, were you? Were you drinking water? I don't think you were drinking water. I think you have been drinking regularly, but he came to the bar to get drunk. I don't think that he needed any water from you. You could have sat yourself down and kept yourself, out of the situation. Now, let's just say this. Even if you did take him some water while he was karaokeing, this is after, okay? Clearly, this is after he's karaokeing at, let's say, 10 something. I don't know what time he went up on stage, but this is after he's karaoke, and now he's sitting on the couch. Now he's sitting on the couch with his woman, okay? She's drunk too. Did you bring her a cup of water? Okay? Or were you just more concerned with him because he's Cuba Gooding Jr.? You know what I'm saying? So you come and plop yourself over there on the couch next to him and his woman. Okay? At that point, your services were no longer needed. Okay, if you thought that he was drunk, how come you didn't go get security or, a manager and say, hey, maybe he's had too much, or tell the bartender, hey, maybe he's had too much. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes, a lot of times we interject ourselves in things where we don't even need to really be at. You know what I'm saying? We don't need to be. So then you're sitting there and you're speaking, and then he grabs your breast. Okay, which led to an altercation. Now, I did not see an altercation on that video anywhere. Okay, I didn't see an altercation. I did see an exchange of some words, but I definitely didn't see an altercation. Okay. And Cuba doesn't leave there for an hour and a half later after the incident takes place. Okay. So now, as I come down to page 6, the woman reportedly calls the cops on Cuba around 1 a.m. in the morning after he grabbed her breast while the two were engaged in conversation earlier in the night. The woman said the actor was drunk and that they had to be broken up from fighting by security after he touched her inappropriate. Now, maybe is she saying that the white guy who was dancing and gyrating that Cuba also touched in the groin area was security? I didn't think he was security. I thought the security had on the black shirts that were inside of there. And there was, I want to say, 2 black men in black shirts and black slacks that I think were security. And both of those guys happen to have been right there in that same vicinity during that time. And I did not see her, make a big fuss or, jump up outraged or, immediately go and get somebody. As a matter of fact, you sat there for a whole 3 minutes from 10:15 to 10:18, drinking your drink, still engaged in conversation, whether you're saying, hey, don't do that, I don't like that, or whatever, what are you doing, or whatever you're doing. But you don't get up then. It's not until half an hour later on the video that I see you find the security. You happen to walk around the corner and then see Cuba and Claudette laying on the couch making out over there. You know what I'm saying? Where you now you want to come and you want to find the security that's standing next to Cuba, and I guess you want to kind of make a funk. You still don't even turn and point like, hey, he did this, did you see him? But my point is this is half an hour later that you're coming, okay, to say anything about anything to security. Okay, and then you don't even call the police. Now, if this happened at 10:15 and we see it on the video, and Cuba doesn't leave there until an hour and a half after the incident, that would make it around 11:45 that he leaves. Okay, so where did you go, and what took you so long to call the police? You don't call them until 1 a.m. in the morning. You understand what I'm saying? This was a touching. What did you have to tell yourself that took so long for you to have to make that call to the police? You know, you clearly you saw the guy was drunk. if you were looking at the actions of his woman, you could see she was loose as a goose and she was ready to get screwed. Okay, that's the wavelength and that's the page that they were actually on. They were making out. They were, they were doing their touching and doing all of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? So I really hate like to be the one that's kind of like sometimes there are times where we have to pick and choose, hey, am I going to make a big fuss about this or I'm going to make a big stink about this? Me, I would have been like, I'd have popped the pop. Boy, you better back on up and stop playing with me, Cuba. Shoot, Here, let me go get you some milk, bro, because you really tripping. But I don't think that would have been something that I would have been calling the police about or calling the police over. If that was just a regular dude at a regular club, at a regular place that didn't have no money, would you still be trying to call some police 3 hours later? Would you still be trying to make this a big story? You feel me? I mean, most of the time, if you tell the security and the bouncer or something like that, they'll tell them, hey, man, get up out of here. You got to leave. You know what I'm saying? And it'll be over and it'll be done. And then you'll be back at the club again the next week and you'll see the same drunk again. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of times, I mean, come on, he's drunk. He's there to have a good time. He's looking for the after party. He's looking for him and Claudette's after party after the party. Okay, you happen to been the one that kept coming around. You was there during the karaoke. You was passing out water. You was coming over to sit at the couch and have conversation with him and his loose as a goose girlfriend. He put his hands. You never mentioned to the police that he put his hands on your thigh in between your thighs. Now I'm not saying in between where your pocketbook is at, but I am saying you never said that he put his hand on your thigh before he even got to your boob, or he was working his way up. What happened to your hand stopping his hand at your thigh? Like, I'm just asking. You know what I'm saying? This shit is really, to me, is really starting to get out of control, and it's really very petty. You know what I'm saying? It's like you think you have to make a big fuss of some of the smallest things. You know what I'm saying? When he put his hands on your thigh, that's where you should have grabbed his hand and removed it and went on ahead and got up and walked away. So I'm thinking that he may have taken you allowing him to put his hand on your thigh and move it up a little bit, that it was what he was doing was okay. And of course I believe that the lines were blurred, okay, because his choices at that time, being under the influence and impaired, were blurred. But this is something that they do. He is a celebrity. That is his girlfriend. And those are things that those kinds of people do. Really nothing is off limits. Now, I didn't see him, grab you and snatch you and do all of this forcible, because that's what they're charging him with. You know what I'm saying? But at what point do you let a dude make a simple mistake? Oh, I'm sorry. I must have overread or read too much into that. You know what I'm saying? When did I'm sorry become not good enough? You know what I'm saying? Is it when they're celebrities? Is it when you think that you can stand to get a little payout and settle out in court for something just to, you know what I'm saying? At what point? Who talked you into calling the police? Who told you that this could be a huge story and that you can sue him in a civil court for this right here if he's found guilty? Who told you that you can make this a come up? Because this seems super, super duper petty. A little childish at myself, if I may say so myself. Now, Cuba, your lawyer, I mean, now, when I first heard the lawyer speaking, he did say, hey, there was no criminality going on there. And I think that I do agree that there was no criminal act, no criminality. There was no, I'm gonna take something from you, you know what I'm saying, and it's mine. I don't care how you feel about it, you know what I'm saying. That wasn't what I got from that. I just thought that he felt like he was kind of testing the waters. He did the thigh first, and then he went on up to, and thought that maybe they would be able to go on ahead and lead a club after that, all three of them together, and he was mistaken. And so I just feel like when you caught him there, oh, hold on, buddy, hold on, buddy. It ain't that kind of party, not tonight. You know what I'm saying? Not with me. And you could have went on. You could have took your home girl that was next to you and went on about your business and got up out of that man's face. I want to know what you did after that 30 minutes when Cuba got up and left and his girlfriend walked away and then the other guy walked away and then you got up and followed behind them. Why was it 30 minutes later, until you could find the security guard that was saying, oh, you happen to stumble upon them, and now all of a sudden you want to tell the security guard about it. Well, where did you go after you followed them and walked right behind them when you guys first got up? It took you half an hour to find the security. It took you half an hour to call the police. It took you you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm really, really getting tired of this. Like, every time, every time a guy makes, a little gesture or reads a little too much into something, and you know they may behave badly, you know what I'm saying. The first thing we want to do nowadays is prosecute, you know what I'm saying. People don't get past this no more. Like, it's hard to differentiate, when you really need to be calling for convictions and when you need to just be saying knock it off because you're wilding out. You know what I'm saying? You know, this is the kind of world that they live in. And maybe if that's too much of a place for you, maybe you should just stick to the rivers and lakes that you're used to. Or maybe you should just stay in your lane. Maybe you should just stay at the bar with your homegirl. Maybe you should let somebody else take him water and baby him back and, whatever. Maybe that was his way. Maybe he thought that you wanted the D because you kept coming around. You know? I don't know, but we call him everything just can't be all about the man. It can't just always be men always getting in trouble because a woman is complaining about something or upset about something or crying about something or feels violated. You know what, you guys are going to be hella pissed off about this because I haven't yet to see them file charges on Cardi B's, but for going out here drugging ninjas and taking all their belongings. Society act like they didn't even hear that man tell them that she drugged and robbed him. Now that's a real crime. What would have happened if them people that Cardi B was drugging and robbing and leaving for dead had died due to her drugging? But we accept it because she's the hottest thing around right now. She's number one on the billboards right now. It's cool. We have to stop spreading this narrative that, hey, there are things that grown people do, and grown people should be able to be grown ups and say, no, stop that. Now, had he continued to do and continue to be aggressive and try to, take what's not his or touch your body parts or get up in you or grab you by the pussy like our president, then I could see you going and making this a huge situation. But that's not what I gathered from that video, even though he does have his hands on you. It is I just was not seeing a forcible anything. I like to look at the energy and what's surrounding it. I like to see, I'm looking at all that. I did not see you move his hand when he touched and reached between your thigh. I just didn't. So if I were a man or a woman, I would think, okay, we maybe she letting me get a little frisky. You know what I'm saying? He didn't go up between your dress. He raised his hand and came up to your boob just to see, where he was going with it, and that was what was gonna let him know if it was gonna be all good. You could have simply said no, sir, and went on about your night. So I don't know. Maybe I'm looking. I don't know. I just think it's real weak. Honestly, I think it's real weak, and I just think that we need to stop doing that kind of stuff. Like, we need to stop doing that. Next they're gonna be harassing folks for whistling. They used to do that all the time. Catcalling is what they called it. Next that's gonna be harassment, and dudes is gonna be getting arrested for that. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh no. We need to figure it out, but we need to do better. Like, we really we need to do better. Like, I could see that being a issue if it was a child, if it was a young girl, you know what I'm saying? Someone that may not know what to do in a situation like that, you know? But you was a grown woman. And when you grabbed his hand off of your boob, I was like, go, girl. But then when I started looking at your timeline and when you trying to tell, and now you trying to tell, now you want to call the police, now you want to do, oh my gosh, like, seriously? Wow. You know, I don't know though. Y'all let me know what y'all think. I just think that was super, super whack. But anyway, I'm out of here.